you're going to need environmental health trust. You're going to need Rob Brown, radiologist, and you're going to call him and ask him if he's going to have enough testing equipment to test a robotaxi and a Tesla vehicle. You're going to get Susan Serrano, Deborah Davis, and the other 252 scientists from 43 nations that signed the call to international protection. Sorry, I said it wrong. It's been a long day. 252 scientists from 43 nations that signed the call to protection from non-ionizing radiation. For your research work, you can go over to Environmental Health Trust over on their YouTube page and go listen to the Tesla shareholders meeting and make sure you listen to the beginning part of it. Yeah, there's an proxy set before to stop her from speaking. And then when you hear what she has to say and when you hear that e-vehicles are not required by law to give out their measurements, you start seeing a really interesting picture of someone using outdated safety guidelines on everybody and claiming to be a big person of fraud. He may not know that, so I'm treading lightly, Elon, because he could be just like Deborah Davis, highly educated, and she didn't think there was a problem with cell phones. But you got a website dedicated, a think tank that won against the FCC in court, arbitrary and capricious. They need to update their outdated safety guidelines that you use, Elon. So, for your part 2, you can test these live in front of everyone so they know not to put their child in it. Because I've asked for the last couple of days, is it safe for a child, a pregnant woman, or a kid to ride in a robo-taxi? I know Elon can't do this, neither can the company itself. Children take in 10 times more microwave radiation. And I also added in there, what is the highest level of EMF in milligauss? Just so, I can show within 3 to 4 milligauss, it's borderline for childhood leukemia. So I don't want anybody thinking that they're going to be shoving their kid into this and sending it off to school and thinking that it's safe. I want you to show the numbers. And I want you to grab the experts in cell phone radiation and cell phone tower radiation. And then I want them to explain to everyone watching where our 1996 thermal guidelines came from, because it's fucking crazy. They were blasted with microwave radiation to the point where they couldn't push a food lever even though they were starving. Cut that number by 50% for the general public and 10% for workers. And they had burns on their faces. They refuse to look at anything else besides thermal effects only. Refuse. Like, you could have all the science in the world, they refuse to look at it. Even with this court hearing of 11,000 pages of scientific documentation, they didn't even bother to even read it. This is your children, your grandchildren, and on top of it, losing in 2021, they more or less gave a big finger to the Environmental Health Trust and pushed fast-track proposal. And Elon needs that for his vehicles to run, so he ain't going to be stopping that at all. No safety tests. Put it up anywhere they want. Put it right next to your house, and you can't say anything. Not even to your municipality. But we got meters, measurements, and everything that we can take. We have a Safe and Sound Pro meter. We have a Wavebond RF60 meter that's used for cell phone tower workers and for radiologists. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 30 days, it will record information. You also have the Building Biologist Institution, which is another place where you can get testing done. So even if you don't have Waymos or robo-taxis out where you're at, you can go anywhere they're at and call and schedule a testing. I would have them go over the illustrations that Elon has illustrated over on X as living pods. Those will not shield for the embryo in a woman. Will not. Sorry, nope. about 6 feet or more, and you still can't get down to zero. You cannot go to a dead, dying planet and live in glass domes. Sorry, plants won't survive. Children next to that glass won't survive. Done. Over with. Lineage will fade off, every single lineage, weaker and weaker and weaker. Over 400x compared to Earth, and during lightning or during EMF storms, even higher yet. The plants grown in that illustration, not true. So, you have someone that's using outdated safety guidelines, lost in court, 45 plus years old, based on 1980 rat and monkey tests, and going to be claiming humanity's savior. And your Grok AI needs a phone to ride on, and the Chicago Tribune, their phones were 3 to 7 times or more over the 1.6. Now think about that for a child that takes in 10 times more microwave radiation. Now think about that child having a phone in its pocket inside of a robo-taxi and the cumulative effects of other vehicles surrounding it. These things are all testable. You could do this with actual scientists like Dr. Rob Brown, radiologist, with a new book out called Unplugged. So why don't you read that and then see if you want to do a part 2? Because part 2, you wouldn't need Elon there. All you got to do is bring in Environmental Health Trust and have them tell you the truth about 1609 and his lies. He upplayed his products and downplayed microwave radiation risk. This is for your family, your grandchildren, and your future. It's all riding on his lies on Joe Rogan's podcast. You can go hear it right now. All lies. Let me see Elon back any of that up. You can't.